Hi, I'm Benjamin, 32, and last month my family sold my house behind my back to pay off my sister's $214,000 in debt. I was in Maui when it happened. They didn't even try to hide it. They bragged about it. Now you're homeless, my mom said with a smirk. I just smiled. She narrowed her eyes. What's so funny? I looked her dead in the eye and said, You didn't sell my house. You sold a lawsuit. Let me take you back. I'm a real estate agent, the type who keeps a color-coded calendar, 3 different chargers in my bag, and emergency contracts in my glove box. I'm the guy people call when something leaks, breaks, or cries. My parents raised me like a walking insurance policy. If my sister Natalie got a C+, it was champagne. If I got an A, it was good. That's expected. When I was 16, I was driving her to nail appointments. When I was 25, I was helping my parents understand credit card interest that they'd racked up covering her boutique dreams. Natalie's the golden child. Always has been. She's beautiful, messy, impulsive, like a sparkler someone lit indoors. Every room bends toward her. Me? I'm the fire extinguisher. Always cleaning up after her sparks. But I built a life. A real one. I saved. I worked 12-hour days. I walked through moldy basements with clients, and once negotiated a deal while my tire was flat on the side of the freeway. I put together a quiet, careful life. No roommates. No debt. A house I didn't just live in, I engineered. Here's the part they didn't know. The property they thought was mine? Legally, it wasn't. When the market dipped 2 years ago, I saw a panic listing, a beautiful mid-century modern build near the park that had stalled in development. The lender was twitchy. I knew the builder. I stepped in with a strategy Jared, my mentor, had drilled into me: control the asset. Control the outcome. I created a shell company, Willow Pine Holdings LLC. I structured a master lease with an option to purchase. I paid the deposit, set up Airbnb permits, and filled the place with traveling nurses and relocators. The cash flow was steady. The legal control was airtight. My name was nowhere on the deed. Not out of paranoia, out of experience. Because in my family, ownership gets confused with obligation. I told them I lived there. I didn't tell them I didn't own it. You'd be shocked how fast people start getting ideas when your name is on a title. 4 days into my first real vacation in 3 years, I'm sitting under a palm tree with a drink that had a flower in it. I hadn't checked my phone since I landed. I wanted peace. Quiet. To watch the ocean change colors and forget about mold reports and overdue appraisals. Then I turned on my phone. 19 missed calls from my mom. 12 from my dad. 7 from Natalie. The last text from my dad read, Important update about the house. Call now. I thought maybe a pipe burst. A fire. Something real. I called. Hey, honey. My mom answered cheerfully. You still in Maui? Yeah. Why? Well, she said, drawing it out like she was proud of herself. We handled something for you. The house. It's sold. A cash offer. I stared at my coffee, cold now. You what? You'll understand when you hear the numbers, she said, like she was offering me a gift. I didn't speak. She filled the silence. Benjamin, don't be dramatic. It's done. We talked to a buyer. He's wiring the money today. That's when I hung up. Not out of anger. Out of sheer, stunned calm. I didn't scream. I didn't even flinch. I finished my cold coffee. I booked a red-eye flight. And while I zipped up my suitcase with trembling hands, my phone dinged with a final insult. Natalie. Finally leveled the playing field. You can always crash on my couch. I didn't reply. I walked out of the hotel with nothing but my suitcase and a hard little grin. Because what they didn't know was everything. They didn't know about Willow Pine Holdings. They didn't know about the option agreement. They didn't know they hadn't sold anything. They'd faked a deed, forged a signature, and walked directly into federal fraud charges, on camera. And now, I was going home. Not to collapse. Not to scream. To watch them realize. This isn't the story they thought it was. This is mine. The red-eye dropped me at the airport before dawn. I didn't go home. I went straight to the property. My house. Well, technically, Willow Pine Holdings property under a master lease with an irrevocable option to purchase, but in spirit? Mine. There was a moving truck in the driveway. The sun wasn't even up yet, and my mother was in the front yard wearing her church sandals and directing two sweaty movers like she was running a construction site. She spotted me immediately. "There he is!" She chirped like she'd invited me to brunch. "We were worried you'd miss us." I didn't say a word. I just walked past her, through the propped open door, wedged with a paint can, and into the house that smelled like lemon cleaner and Windex and chaos. The floors were bare. Walls half repainted. Someone had started taping over the baseboards. The mantel had a fresh coat of off-white paint. Standing near it was a man in a golf shirt, holding a phone like he was about to live-stream a real estate TikTok. The buyer. The same man who, according to a family group chat screenshot I'd seen on the flight, had met with my parents and Natalie at a diner, Zillow printout in hand, and agreed to buy the house from them for $380,000. "Wire ready in 24 hours, he'd said. My mother had signed a fake deed. My father had witnessed it. Natalie had filmed a boomerang with the caption, "Sold!" I didn't go in hot. I went in ice cold. "Everyone. Living room. Now." They followed. Reluctantly. Confused. Still convinced they were in charge of the narrative. We sat. The buyer perched on a stool, watching me like I was just another player in a deal he'd already closed. Natalie leaned against the kitchen island like she was the one doing me a favor by not charging rent. Mom crossed her legs and smiled like she was the star of a daytime legal drama. Dad stayed standing, hands in pockets, like a man about to be thanked. "So," Mom began brightly, "we made a tough call, but family comes first." I looked at her. Then at the buyer. "You sold the house that doesn't belong to you." Silence. Her smile twitched. "Don't be childish, Benjamin. Everyone knows it's yours." "No," I said. "It's a property my LLC leases under a master agreement. It has a recorded option to purchase. The deed doesn't have my name on it. The lease doesn't have my name on it. What you sold is not yours to sell. What you signed is not a deed. It scribbles on a piece of paper." The buyer stopped scrolling. Natalie scoffed. "Oh my God, Ben. Nobody cares about your little paperwork games." I turned to her. "Did you pay off your debt with the wire?" She stiffened. "Yes." "How much?" She blinked. "I don't have to tell you that." "You do," I said evenly. "Because if you use funds from a fraudulent conveyance, that's traceable." Dad took a step forward, voice sharp. "Watch your tone." I met his stare. "No." That one word hit him harder than any insult ever could. "No," I said again. "You don't get to talk to me like that. Not anymore." Mom tried her soft voice. The one that always meant a guilt trip was coming. "Benjamin, we saved your credit. We got you out from under that mortgage." There was no mortgage, I said. There was income. There were tenants. And there were Airbnb bookings through October. You canceled those in a group text like you were rearranging brunch. Her mouth opened and closed like a dying fish. The buyer stood. "Look, we can unwind this." "You should unwind this." I cut in. "Call your attorney before you record anything. If you cloud my title, I will come for your E&O insurance. I will not settle." His face did quick math. He stepped outside to make a call. Inside, my family just stared. "We did what had to be done," Mom said. "Natalie was drowning." I looked at my sister. "You weren't drowning. You were throwing pool parties in a pool you couldn't afford and asking me to bring towels." She folded her arms. "I'm not apologizing for not wanting my life destroyed. I'm not asking for an apology," I said. "I'm setting a boundary." Dad barked a bitter laugh. "Therapy talk. Figures. Call it whatever you want," I said, calm now. "Steady. But listen carefully, because I'm only saying this once. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure." Mom's laugh was sharp. "Closure? Don't be dramatic." I stood. "I've already filed a fraud affidavit with the developer and title company. We're blocking the recording. The buyer will either return the wire or deal with the consequences. You forged my name. That's identity theft. I'm not pressing charges. Yet. But I'm also not playing the family ATM anymore. What does that mean? Mom asked quietly. It means I'm done being your rainy day fund. Your plan. Your safety net you never think. Natalie rolled her eyes. You hoard money and call it discipline. I call it rent paid on time. I said. I call it not stealing. Dad pointed to the door. You can get out of this family if you're gonna talk like that. I met his finger with a smile. I already did. I walked out of the house, past the moving truck, past the fake buyer, past the life they thought they dismantled. Because the truth was that life? It was just beginning. I didn't drive home. I drove to my office. Closed the door. Sat down. Breathed. Then I called Shay, my paralegal friend with a highlighter addiction and a mild contempt for people who write legal documents in Comic Sans. She was there in 20 minutes with a coffee and a yellow legal pad. Walk me through it, she said, already uncapping the highlighter. I laid it all out. The LLC structure. The master lease. The option agreement. The Airbnb permits. The bookings. The wire transfer. The buyer's knockoff deed that looked like it was printed at a Kinko's and signed at a Denny's. I showed her the bank statement screenshot, $380,000 wired into my parents' joint account. Then out again. $214,000 to cover Natalie's debts. $52,000 toward a new car. $40,000 set aside for a family vacation. $10,000 labeled Ben's Restart Fund. Shay didn't laugh. She just circled that last line and wrote in all caps next to it. Like hell. We filed 3 things that afternoon. A fraud notice with the recorder's office. A cease and desist to the buyer. A letter to my parents' attorney demanding document preservation for all related financial activity. No threats. No caps lock. Just boring. Boring is powerful in real estate. The buyer blinked first. He called me that night, voice quiet. We were just trying to help them. No, I replied. You were trying to flip a house you didn't legally buy for a quick $20,000 assignment fee. You're lucky I didn't call the state licensing board. He sighed. My attorney says we should just wire it back. You should. And they did. 2 days later, the recorder's office rejected the deed. The county flagged the parcel. The developer emailed me one word. Handled. I slept that night. For the first time in weeks, I slept 8 hours straight and didn't wake up to check for texts. No dread. No guilt. But my parents? They didn't let go so easily. Wednesday, 6 missed calls from Mom. Thursday, 3 voicemails. I listened once. Saved them all. Voicemail 1. You're misunderstanding. We did this for you. Call me back and we can fix it. Voicemail 2. I spoke to our pastor. He says you're being prideful. Benjamin, this isn't who you are. Voicemail 3. If you don't talk to us, we're going to tell people what really happened. Classic trilogy, guilt. Anger. Threat. I saved them to a folder labeled /documentation/family_drama/voicemails/. Natalie posted a story, her flipping her hair with the caption, Haters gonna hate. Someone DM'd it to me. Your sister okay? I typed 5 responses. Deleted them all. Settled on. Yes. Friday morning, Dad showed up at my office without an appointment. My receptionist buzzed me. There's a man here who says he's your father. He wants to straighten you out. Shay intercepted him before I could get up. Stood in the hallway like a velvet rope at a nightclub. I need to speak to Benjamin, he said loud enough for the whole floor. Shay smiled. He's not available. I'm not leaving. Then you'll be removed. We're on legal notice. Anything you want to communicate should be in writing. He blinked like the word fraud had a flavor he didn't like. He left. That weekend, I drove back to the property. Empty now. Clean. Quiet. Lemon-scented and hollow. I sat on the living room floor under the soft buzz of string lights. Thought about putting a couch here. A table there. A plant that would die in 6 months but look good in photos. My agent brain ran mortgage math. My heart said, not yet. Monday morning, my mom sent a long text that began with, "We're family." It ended with, "You owe us a conversation." I replied with one line, "Everything you need to know is in the letter." 2 hours later, she wrote back, "We were scared." I stared at those 3 words until they blurred. I typed, erased, typed again, then finally sent, "I know." And I put my phone away. 3 months passed. The text came in waves. 17 in one day, then nothing for a week. 8 in 2 hours, then silence. Jacob, my cousin, screenshotted the family group chat. Natalie called me a landlord leech. Mom wrote, "Benjamin is letting strangers stay in his home for money while his sister suffocates." Aunt Robin chimed in, "But he has so much. He could spare a little." I didn't reply. I didn't send PDFs. I didn't post receipts. I watered the plant on my desk. I showed a condo to a nurse who hadn't seen a sunrise in 4 years and cried when she realized the balcony faced east. I handed her the keys and said, "Welcome home." And that felt like clean air. But nothing snapped it all into focus like the Sunday dinner. Dad texted at 3:14 p.m. sharp. "We're eating at 6. You should be here." Not a question. Not an apology. An order. And for once, I said yes. But not to surrender. To end it. I showed up right at 6. No earlier. No later. Just on time. Like a business meeting, I was prepared to leave early. Their house looked like a magazine spread. The table was set. Baby's breath in a mason jar. Roast chicken in the center. Wine glasses, even though no one really drank. The good plates. A dinner designed to say, "Look how normal we are. Look how united." Natalie was already seated at the far end of the table, scrolling on her phone like a moody queen. Mom looked up and gave me that thin, brittle smile she reserves for company. Dad poured himself water like it was whiskey. "Benjamin," he said. "Good. Sit." I sat. Calm. Coat on. Bag still over my shoulder. No small talk. No how's work, no you look tired. Mom dove right in. "We've been thinking of a plan." Of course they had. She folded her hands like a news anchor delivering good news. "We realized we were a little rash, but the bills are real. Natalie's apartment is too expensive, and she can't move because of her lease. So we need you too." I raised a hand. "Stop." Her lips pressed together like I'd sworn in church. "Excuse me? There's no plan," I said. "Not with me in it." Dad's hand slammed the table. The plates jumped. "You watch your mouth in my house." I looked at him like a calm surgeon about to cut deep. "I will speak to you like an adult. Because that's what I am. I'm not funding Natalie's life. I'm not co-signing anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm not moving anyone into any of my properties. And I'm not attending any more meetings where I get outvoted 3-1 and told it's love." Natalie scoffed. "So you're just going to let your sister drown?" "She's not drowning," I said. "She's swimming in a pool she can't afford and yelling at the lifeguard." Mom's voice went tight. "How dare you?" "Easily," I said. "Because I tried kindness. I tried small loans. I tried quiet. All it did was pull me into the chaos. So now I'm trying boundaries." Dad leaned forward. "You're ungrateful." "For what?" I asked. "For the years I drove her everywhere? For never getting gas money while she posted champagne to Instagram? For the house you tried to sell without asking me? You stole from me." Mom's eyes flashed. "We were saving you." "No," I said. "You were erasing me." Silence. Sharp and still. Then I stood. "I'm done for the night," I said. Mom pushed her chair back. "If you walk out of this house, Benjamin, I'll always answer if someone is sick," I said. "If there's a real emergency. But I'm not your emergency fund. Not anymore." Natalie sneered. "You're a villain. You know that, right?" I shrugged. "Fine. I've got a life to live." I walked out. The door clicked behind me with the finality of a judge's gavel. The air outside was cool and clean. My phone buzzed in my pocket, and I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. And again. Calls. Texts. Missed notifications stacking like Tetris blocks. I watched the counter rise. I turned the phone over. Let the screen face the seat. And drove home in the dark. No music. No podcasts. Just road. Just peace. When I got home, I took a shower, poured a glass of water, and sat on my couch in the quiet. No yelling. No accusations. No guilt. In the morning, I made coffee and stood barefoot in the kitchen watching the lights spill in. 8:07 a.m. A single text from Mom. I don't recognize you. I stared at it for a long time. Then whispered out loud to no one. Me neither. And I took the first sip. That month, I didn't engage. Mom sent me forgiveness articles. I didn't reply. Dad asked about interest rates. I answered like I would any client. Natalie posted a clip of her shredding a credit card, rebranding herself as Accountability Era. She texted, "Are we okay?" I replied, "We're adults." I exercised the purchase option. Bought the house from the developer. Quietly. Legally. No fanfare. No posts. Then I furnished it one chair at a time. One lamp. One quiet evening. One rule, nothing I'd ever have to apologize for. Some nights I sit under the string lights, letting the hum of the city fade into background noise. I think about how this place isn't just mine in name, it's mine in silence. In safety. People want handcuffs. I want boundaries. Holiday card? Maybe. Dinner? No. Missed call from Mom without the stomach drop? Progress. The cost changed. For years, the bill had my name on it whether I'd ordered or not. Now? I put the pen down. It's been 6 months. The house is quiet. The kind of quiet I used to crave like air. String lights click on at sunset, soft and golden, like applause from the universe. My desk plant is still alive. Barely. But alive. I never answered that last family dinner text. Natalie posted another rebrand, this time it's Minimalist Reset. She deleted the shopping highlights from her profile. Replaced them with quotes about peace and vision boards. She hasn't repaid a cent. She won't. I don't expect her to. Boundaries don't come with repayment plans. They come with freedom. Mom sent lasagna. Left it on my steps without a word. I didn't bring it inside. I bought a slice at the park instead. Ate it on a bench. Watched a dog roll in the grass like nothing bad ever happens. Simple. Mine. My dad hasn't texted since the interest rate message. I imagine him sitting in his garage pretending he's still right about everything. He probably is in his head. That's fine. Let him win in there. I didn't go public. No rants. No group messages. I let them talk. Let them spin their stories. Let Aunt Robin decide I'm selfish. Let Jacob take screenshots. Let it all rot in its own air. What I did do? I helped a first-time buyer close on a townhome near the hospital. She cried in my office when she signed the paperwork. Said no one else believed she'd ever own anything. I believed her. That's enough. After the sale, I brought her the keys myself. She hugged me like I'd saved her life. I just smiled. Welcome home. That's the job. That's the life. The one I built. Alone, yes. But on purpose. It turns out closure isn't a slam. It's not a dramatic speech or a slam door or one perfect comeback. It's drinking coffee without checking your phone. It's waking up and feeling the ground under your feet and knowing nobody's waiting to take from you. It's silence without tension. It's peace that doesn't beg to be forgiven. People ask me now if I talk to my family. I say, not often. They ask why. I say, because I love them. But I don't pay their bills. If that makes me the villain, so be it. I've got a mortgage, a plant that might survive spring, a string of booked clients, and a chair that fits me just right. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not sad. I'm Benjamin. I work hard. I put keys in hands. I keep receipts. And I don't go back for people who sold me out and called it love. That's not pride. That's peace.